Other signs got their reading a week in advance. I have this is my third attempt at filming this, so the cards are already laid out. And all right, so we are starting out with the Queen of Swords in the reverse position, ending with the King of Swords in the reverse position. So what we're going to have to deal with is basically, balancing the give and take in a relationship, okay? And I do feel as well there is some type of karmic energy coming through with this air sign person that you've been dealing with for quite some time. An air sign is an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. So that could be their sun, moon, rising. And I do sense at the same time, this is somebody that you were involved with extensively. We have the devil in the reverse, and I do sense that the relationship itself is dissolving, and it seems as if it's dissolving for good, for your greater good, for their greater good. But there is also like a very karmic lesson that is learned here, which is that you can only give so much of yourself in order to sustain it. If both parties are not giving equal amount, this relationship is inherently unbalanced from the past too. And for this month, you are going to be able to break away from these chains and I guess the toxicity involved in this situation. It can be from your side or their side, but I do sense as well there is a feeling of like both of you having like mutual friends, having a lot of people that you both know mutually, and in the past, because of it, it became like one of those convenient type of relationship. And now that it's dissolving and it's gone for good, there might be a little bit of gossip around your environment regarding this person, or there might be, mutual friends coming through, asking you about, the other person, if you're still together and things like that. So then you have to like break the news to them. At the same time, the other person might also have to break the news to their friends. So it's just overall, it's a little bit awkward, but I do feel that more than anything, the devil in the reverse is always a good thing to have in a reading. It indicates, breaking away from bondage, breaking away from unhealthy ties, or even relationships that were like on and off. And even though there might be like a lot of feelings involved for this month, especially, I do feel there's going to be communication between you and an air sign, because we have the Queen and the King of Swords. There is going to be communication between you and the air sign in order for you both to find closure. So I do feel it is definitely closure inducing, and you both can, decide what you want to do once and for all. I do sense at the same time, if you have if you have somebody like an air sign that you've been thinking about, or that is like weighing heavily on your mind, I do feel the air sign is also moving on with his or her life. And this relationship itself, I don't feel that it can be rekindled in any way. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Um, a lot of you might be dealing with a fire sign as well, especially a Leo. So a fire sign is, I'm getting the strength energy, which is an Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo. And I do feel specifically it might be a Leo. There is some sort of a cementing of the ties with this person. Okay, we have the Two of Cups on top of it, and then the Strength card underneath. So there is some sort of like I guess like escalation in the relationship. It's sort of like taking a relationship to the next level. So you might be dating somebody of a fire sign, and then you're not really sure how, in the past, you're not sure what you want to do. But for this month, I do sense a lot of escalation in terms of, committing to one another, dating one another exclusively, getting engaged, getting married. So an escalation in the seriousness of the relationship, and it has a very, very positive outcome, because I do feel that this is somebody that first of all, it's a opposite energy. You're water, they're fire, so there's already intense like physical chemistry. There's also like an emotional bond, a very strong emotional rapport with this fire sign person as well. And they make you feel very at home. So that's what I'm sensing here. For a lot of you too, you might be shifting your energy from an air sign to like a fire sign, or you might be, in a relationship with an air sign, dabbling with a fire sign. So that's what I'm sensing as well. And because of it, you're going to have to decide if you really want to be in a relationship with this air sign, because overall, the cards regarding the air signs are not looking too positive. We have the devil reverse, which is that it's something that was potentially toxic in the past, and it didn't really have a future. You don't really have a future, solid future together. And then ending with the Six of Cups in the reverse position, it's sort of like this is a card of memories, okay? And you're looking back at the past with this, your past history with this air sign, and you're also thinking that, it hasn't been all that great. They haven't been that entirely supportive. So, keep this in mind. But I would say that this is a very karmic relationship. So, more than anything, I do believe it is a great learning experience from both parties, okay, for both parties. So, even though there is still, deep down, there is a lack of balance, you might be the one giving them a lot of emotional support due to your nature. They might be the one giving you a lot of, logistical or even like objective, assessment. So already the approach that you both are taking in the relationship, it's like it's imbalanced because the air sign is very, very rational. They're hasty. They're quite impatient, and verbally they might not be entirely supportive, whereas you're the water sign. You give your all, you give your emotional support to this person, and they might take and take and take, and there is going to be a sense of closure coming in. So in essence, if you have been involved with an air sign, you're going to learn to like toughen up your skin. You're going to learn to toughen up your thinking processes to be a little more objective. So overall, it is a really, really great learning experience for both parties as well, okay? They're learning to soften up, and I do feel they are going to start softening up in the future for their other relationships. And you are learning to be a little bit more discerning based on your experiences and being in close proximity with them. You know how they think, so it's a mutually beneficial relationship. You might be feeling a little bit emotionally drained and unsupported, but through it all, I do feel that for this is a very strong karmic type of relationship. And I do sense that the full moon that happened on the 31st, the blue moon in Aquarius, it's an Aquarius is also a fellow air sign. So I do sense that it is going to bring a lot of illumination into how this relationship was basically like how the relationship played out in your memories versus the reality of it playing out in real life. Okay, there is going to be endings, and there's going to be new beginnings. So endings with the air sign, and also new beginnings with potentially a fire sign, or at least a new beginning in a relationship that is a lot more balanced, that is a lot more supportive for your goals, your aspiration, and your emotional depth. Okay, so overall, it's looking very great. So aside from that, for those of you in stable relationships in general, I do sense there is going to be kind of like a sense of matching. Okay, you're coming into new relationships or your current relationship, and both sides have reached essentially like a truce as to what they want to do with one another. In the past, there might have been like a lot of social dating where you and the other party are both like dating many, many people, and you're trying to figure out what it is that you really want. And then in the midst of this, in for this month, if there is a relationship like something that's escalating, that's becoming more serious, more grounded, you both are essentially on the same page. There is a mutual exchange, and there's also a mutual like understanding, like a common ground, approaching this relationship in a very mature manner, and you're both deciding on what do you want to do. Let's just not get carried away. Let's just settle something into more of a stable pattern, just so that both parties are on the same page. There aren't other people around, and the relationship is going to be balanced in the future. So in general, it's looking very, very good for you on the relationship front. Okay. The thing I would say as well is I do feel for a lot of cancers, um, male or female, in the past you have been pretty monogamous. You like get into relationships and you tend to give it your all, If it doesn't work, it takes you a while to finally leave it and move forward because you get very emotionally invested in relationships, especially for Cancer women, and you want that happy home. You want the the puppy love, the childhood carefree, as long as we're together. We don't need anything else. We don't need money. We don't need the house and the car. As long as we're together, it's going to be all right. So that's what you wanted in the past. Moving forward, though, you're a little bit more, I wouldn't say jaded, but I would say like you're a little bit more realistic in your expectations, and you're a lot more realistic about in your the way you look at other people, especially like potential love interests. If they don't meet your criteria, if they don't check all the boxes in your requirements list, you're not going to waste your time. So I do feel that you are putting your guard up a little bit, and there is nothing wrong with that. If anything, I do suggest that you withdraw a little bit and approach relationships in a more objective manner. That way you don't end up disappointed, okay? So aside from that, it's going to take you a lot. A lot of you have gotten out of serious relationships too. So moving forward, you're still committed, but you're going to like take things extra, extra slow because the strength card is also a lot about patience. And whenever I see this card in a relationship spread or in a relationship, just enjoy the process. Enjoy the process of dating, of getting to know one another. Enjoy the process of looking at the other person very, very objectively without, colored, without your judgment being colored by lust, by infatuation. Okay, so it's a very nice energy for you, and I do feel that when you go into relationships without expectations, without thinking like, oh, this has to be the one because I'm a certain age and I have to get into a relationship, I have to have children at a certain age, I have to get engaged at a certain age or married at a certain age. This is like letting go of relationship agendas. So in the reverse position, it's actually looking very good, and you're actually viewing the other person on a one-on-one basis. So you're not bringing your emotional baggage from your past. And it's really important to learn from our past, but at the same time, when we are encountering like a new person and new energy, it is really important to also not allow our past history to color our present relationship. And what I mean by that is, if you've had like three, serious relationship in the past, for example, and you have always been cheated on or you have always been mistreated, and then you're coming into the new relationship with like fear or with like a lot of anxiety whenever you text somebody and they don't immediately text you back, and you cycle through like worst case scenarios. I do feel for this month you are going to let that go. You're not going to be your moping around when people are doing other things and they don't get back to you right away. You're going to enjoy your social life, and you're going to go out there and just live your life independent with another person. So there is a great air of detachment coming through from you on the relationship front in general, and you're also able to sever ties, especially, or find closure in past relationships if they haven't worked out in the past. All right. So aside from that, what I do sense as well is I have the Justice card in the reverse position, and I have, two of the classically the two soulmate cards that I usually look at. And I do sense that for a lot of cancers in general, this is a make it or break it type of month in which, you are going to sever old ties for good. I feel that there is going to be a discussion, a hashing out, and ties are being severed for people for good, okay, when it comes to interpersonal relationships, like family relationships, love relationships as well. So what I do feel is this is, something that could have happened in the past too. You had a really, really strong emotional bond, but then moving forward, you realize, once the other person is kind of like out of the picture, you have a better sense of detachment and objectivity, and you're looking back at the relationship and you're thinking to yourself, oh, it wasn't that great. It wasn't that great. I'm just really happy being on my own, or I'm really happy with this, other partner that is coming through for me. So what I'm going to do is, once and for all, sever old ties and keep myself distant from this toxic relationship from the past, and then I can move forward, okay? So aside from that, I do sense that the justice card in the reverse position is basically separation as well, divorces, splitting up the assets, and I do feel that a lot of you you do go out of your way for other people. Just make sure that when it comes to divvying up the assets, if you were in a committed relationship and you're thinking about divorce and things like that, that's one of the last residual energy. It's just like that's the last string of attachment tying you to your old situation. Once it is resolved, and it feels to me like it's going to bring up assets, children, things that you have in common for it to be completely done for good. And then in the time of like Libra, which is on the work front, I do feel that this is a traditionally the card of a financial windfall. So on the work front, a lot of you might have like recently undergone some type of an interview, like especially group interviews. You're looked at very, very favorably, and I do feel that if you're looking for new work, and this was implemented coming through, but I do feel that offers are definitely being made to you, and the new work situation looks extremely favorable because you're going to be with people who are like-minded. In the past, things weren't that great. You might be at a job where you were tied to it for financial reasons, but moving forward, you're going to be in a much better environment where people like carry their own weight, where everyone is like, doing what they're supposed to, they're where they're supposed to, and no one is reneging on their promises on the work front. And when they say they're going to do something, you can rest assured that it's going to be done. So it doesn't like create, slack, or it doesn't create like logistical problems on the work front. So things are looking very, very good. And a lot of you too might be deferring to work as a distraction from possibly legal issues on the home front or separation from previous partners, okay? For those of you who are thinking about, leaving your current job and pursuing a different career, and in the meantime, you might be taking like you might be getting pension, alimony, or something like that. I do feel that there is a source of money coming through, either at the heels of a divorce. There might be alimony, child support, and things like that. There could also be like getting unemployment from your work environment. So either way, that is coming through. Get the first paycheck of a significant sum of money coming through for you on a regular basis, or at least on a biannual basis for like 6 months on. And then you will find a new job that is going to be really favorable for you. So I do feel other people's money coming through, and especially like official money from an institution, from a company, some type of employee salary kind of payout coming through, but the process itself is getting delayed and for another like a period of 6 months. Okay, so that's coming through as well. So in general, it's going to be a very, very good month. It is very romantic. It's basically like centered around love, relationship, and money. And finances and love are usually can be read based on the same tarot cards, which is really interesting. So for this month, if there are legal issues, if a lot of you are in the midst of a trial for something that is potentially related to most likely divorce, most likely like workers' comp type of situation, or even like so legal issues regarding health, regarding employment. If you had like a falling out with a previous employee, and then things haven't been too great in the past because whoever you chose to represent you were kind of like muddled and cloudy in their thinking, I do feel that you are going to seek counsel elsewhere, and the new counsel you seek has their things together. Okay, so it's a pretty much the same energy, and I usually look at the first card and the last card to see your progression through this month. And because it's an air energy and you're a water sign, I do feel that a lot of you have like have gone into a self-protective type of mode in which you withdrew inside your shell of a crab, and you're basically looking at life through the peepholes. You want to experience it all, but you're going to be very slow and very meticulous about how you want things executed, okay? So there's going to be a period of contemplation, but I do sense you kind of have a partner in crime. There's somebody in your midst who is very emotionally supportive. So you're kind of withdrawing from the social scene and you're spending time exclusively with like one other person. It could be a fire sign. It could also be a new, brand new air sign that's coming through. But either way, the spread for this month is very other oriented. So even though you want to withdraw, there's still somebody very significant in your life who you have a very strong emotional rapport with coming through in order to help you as well as in order to occupy your time. So it's overall a very, very romantic month. It's also very good for seeking closure if there are things that have been baffling or troubling you or you don't really have clear answers for. I do sense that a lot of illumination is coming through and, you know, succinct, concise, and even like very good insights and advice are coming through for you as well from other people. All right. So, Cancers, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful month. What I'm trying to do is possibly, mid month, I will do a mid month in general and, try to take it easy. All right. And spend time with your loved ones. I do feel that it's not overly, too busy. So take the time you need to spend with other people. All right. I will see you soon. Thanks for watching.